What's going on, guys? So, is it possible to solo a legendary raid? But first, let's talk a little bit about the raids in general and what to do and how to get them and how to beat them. Number one, the legendary raids finally came out of Pokemon Go, kind of coming out after a completely disastrous, what started to be Pokemon Go Fest out in Chicago, but it kind of actually turned out to be pretty cool because we got two legendaries. We got Articuno and Lugia, so now we can at least catch those two birds, which is cool by me because at least it's starting to go towards, the legendaries and everything else. Now, how do you beat them? Because that's kind of what the problem everybody seems to be having, is that everybody is having a real hard time catching them all. So, now finding a legendary raid is pretty much the same as finding a normal one. The raids that you're interested in are indicated by 5 little icons, and you'll see like a big bird on top of them because the timers are pretty much gone. So yeah, the big birds will just kind of show up on top, and you can't miss them. They're bigger than anything else you've seen out there. You can see them a mile away. Now, you can either check gyms around you, or you can use some of the area tools they have out there, which are pretty cool. Now, they don't help you cheat. They do tell you what raids are going on. So they're not going to help you spawn anywhere. They're not going to give you coordinates, but it's basically going to tell you where it's going to go. I'll put a link to one that I particularly like down in the description. Now, it's worth noting that for right now, there's no legendary raid passes. I know everybody was talking about them, but so far, they didn't make it into the game, so get it in while you can. I think it's because they kind of wanted everybody to have a little taste of legendary happiness after all this time, but I got a funny feeling they're going to be in there pretty soon. So right now, you can pretty much just spend a standard pass to get in. Now, when it comes to fighting these things, you got to kind of think about, like, if anybody out there has seen Rocky 4 with little Rocky and big giant Mother Colossus Russian guy, that's pretty much what it's like. You are this, and it's even hard to see when you're on your phone because you're like really little tiny thing, and he's like freaking Norman. I mean, you were talking like Godzilla-like. It dwarfs. It's almost ridiculous. They make it almost cartoonish, it's so big. Now, you'll want to get your best Pokemon together in order to do that. Now, here's a few things that have to do with how exactly to go against them. Now, you want to kind of use a Dark type as a counter for the Psychic type that Lugia is, and Fire for Articuno's Ice. Rock type counters, Flying, so, I mean, those attacks can be reliable against both. One word advice, Lugia sometimes comes at you with Water Attack Hydro Pump. It didn't happen to me yet. But it will decimate you. You're just dead. You're done. There's nothing coming back from that. You're hitting the floor. Okay, so you're going to have to learn how to dodge really, really well in order to keep going with him. Now, you're going to want to bring out now, listen, point blank and simple, if you're below like a level 34, you really don't have any chance of soloing. If you're above a 34, you can, but time is what's going to be. I don't even want to say you can. It's possible, but time is relatively against you. And you would have to come out with the perfect moveset, the perfect time, and then maybe, as far as I know, nobody's actually done it yet. Alright, so now at this point, I'm sure you're all wondering, how exactly can you do it solo? Now, here's the situation with the whole thing. The legendary raids are not designed to be able to be done solo. They're kind of they made them so they're team-oriented, so that one person, no matter how high a level you are, cannot solo it. Not because you might not have the Pokemon, but because you simply don't have enough time. The timer on these things is relatively the same exactly as a normal raid or a normal gym fight, but the problem here is that there's just simply not enough time. There's no way, if you have maxed out Dragonites, all of them, level 40, perfects, that you have enough time. Even if all of your special abilities were, you just simply don't have enough time. That's how they designed it. They wanted to make it where it's team-oriented. Now, here's the problem with that. Getting a raid party together for something as unique as a legendary raid is exceptionally difficult. It's virtually impossible almost to do at this point with a normal raid. It's very difficult to do with the gyms. It's just not designed that way. Now, there's a lot of things out there that are helping people get groups together, like Sylph Road Radio, you a level 35, a guy who's a level 12, and so on and so forth to be able to take. It's just not going to work that way. A whole group of level 12s aren't going to take this thing down. You just simply don't have the CP power. So what you kind of have to do is you're going to have to make friends. Now, it's summertime, so you're going to have to make some friends. you can try to do it all by yourself. It's not going to work. They didn't design it that way. So the whole idea of if you, or could you, or when will somebody actually beat it on solo, unless somebody cheats their ever-living brains out, which most likely will happen, nobody's going to beat one of these things solo. And if you say you did, you're lying. If it's not, okay, so show me on video that you actually did it. Because as far as I can tell, it's a virtual impossibility. It was designed that way. And so help me God, if somebody out there actually does it, they will change the timer to less time. The whole point of a legendary raid is to have a team environment. So, on top of the fact of the legendary raid being rare, getting a group together being rare, and the idea of getting a group together that's good enough or high enough level-wise with the right Pokemon encounters is super rare. You're talking about possibly the rarest situation in the game. Now, I know people are going to be able to do it without that. They'll just slap something together and get it done, but, and also another thing in my opinion, you're talking about like 44,000 CPs, something along those lines. When you actually do win the legendary, if you do, hopefully you all do, your legendary will not have that same CP. So let's just get that out there right now. So I want to say out there to everybody, good luck. I have not gotten one yet. I will be working on it like crazy since my building that I actually work at over in Atlantic City right on the boardwalk is like a haven. As you'll see up on the screen as you've been watching, besides my awesome little raid battle there that I tried to take it on solo. I think I did a pretty good job of ducking and diving and dodging and everything else. But yeah, it was a little bit of a... Yeah, it was a learning curve on that one. Whew, I think I dented him. I at least gave him heartburn. Something. Maybe an upset stomach. Get him some Pepto or something. I don't know. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And hopefully we'll have some more news, hopefully with our first legendary.